Nobody is coming to fix your career. Nobody is coming to fix your career. Not your boss, not the economy, not a better resume template, not some lucky break that lands in your inbox on a random Tuesday. And once that actually sinks in, something shifts. You stop waiting. That's usually when things start moving. Most people spend their entire working life on hold, waiting for the right manager, the next promotion cycle, the company to finally notice them, the market to loosen up, waiting for a kind of permission that was never coming, because no one above you is thinking about your career the way you are. They can't. It's not their job. A career isn't handed to you or assigned. It's built the same way most things worth having are built. Quietly, daily, through decisions nobody else ever sees. And here's the part people don't like saying out loud. Your manager isn't responsible for your growth. Your company isn't responsible for your future. The economy definitely isn't responsible for your income. All of them can support it, maybe even speed it up. But responsible for it? No. That's you. Think about how many people are sitting in jobs right now. Frustrated, underpaid, overlooked, quietly hoping someone eventually notices the effort. Hoping a review changes everything, or a reorg finally puts them in the right seat. Hoping, not building. And hope, whatever else it is, isn't a strategy. It feels like doing something. Mostly it's outsourcing your future to people who aren't thinking about you at all. The belief that quietly wrecks careers. Underneath a lot of stalled careers sits one belief. That effort gets noticed automatically. That if you work hard enough, quietly enough, long enough, someone above you eventually sees it and rewards it. It feels like the responsible way to think. Head down. Do good work. Don't be the one always asking for more. Let results speak for themselves. Except results rarely speak for themselves. They speak through you. Or they don't speak at all. Plenty of excellent employees have been passed over for someone louder. Someone less capable, but more visible. Someone who simply asked for what they wanted while the quiet, competent person waited to be discovered. That's not always unfair. It's often just how organizations function. Attention goes wherever it's directed. And if you're not directing it, somebody else is directing it toward themselves. Nobody is coming to advocate for you the way you'd advocate for yourself. Not because people are cruel, but because they're busy. Your manager has their own targets and politics to survive. Your company has priorities that have nothing to do with your 5-year plan. The market doesn't know your name. Once that's clear, the anger at the system fades, and a better question shows up instead. What am I actually going to do about it? The timing excuse. Few things freeze careers faster than blaming timing. The market's bad right now. Hiring's frozen right now. The company's restructuring right now. Better to wait until things calm down. But conditions are always something. A recession, a hiring freeze, a new manager settling in, a merger, an election, a slow quarter. Wait for perfect conditions, and you'll wait your whole life. Because they don't exist and never have. The people who build strong careers aren't the ones who caught good timing. They're the ones who kept building skill and relationships straight through bad timing. So that when a door cracked open even slightly, they were the only ones ready to walk through it. Watch what happens during a hiring freeze or a rough quarter. Most people slow down, stop learning, stop networking, stop putting in extra effort. Because what's the point if nothing's moving? And that's exactly when a smaller group keeps building anyway. Sharpening a skill nobody asked for. Having conversations nobody assigned. Staying ready for an opportunity that hasn't shown up yet. When the freeze finally thaws, those are the ones who move. Not from luck, but because they were still in motion while everyone else had stopped. The harder truth, a lot of people aren't stuck because of their company, their manager, or the market. They're stuck because they quietly stopped growing and found comfortable excuses that don't require them to change anything. It's easier to say the market is broken than to admit you haven't picked up a real skill in 3 years. Easier to say your manager doesn't get you than to admit you've never had an honest conversation about what you actually want. Easier to say there's no opportunity here than to admit you haven't looked anywhere else. None of this is meant to sting. It's just that clarity is the only thing that moves a stalled career. As long as the story is entirely about what's being done to you, there's nothing left for you to do. And a career with nothing left to do stays exactly where it is. The moment the story shifts, even slightly from what's happening to me to what am I doing next, everything changes. Not because the external situation gets better overnight, but because you stop being a passenger in your own working life. What actually moves things, it's rarely one big lucky break. Not a single interview. Not a mentor who materializes with a master plan. Careers move the way most durable things move. through small, repeated, unglamorous decisions that compound quietly until, one day, the compounding becomes visible. Learning a skill your role doesn't require yet, but the next one will. Having one honest conversation with your manager about where you actually want to go, instead of hoping they guess. Reaching out to someone outside your company just to stay connected to your field. Finishing the piece of work nobody assigned, because it makes you the person who sees the whole picture instead of just your slice of it. None of it feels dramatic. None of it makes a highlight reel. But it's a deposit. And careers, like most things built on compounding, reward whoever keeps making deposits long after it stops feeling exciting. Most people quit the moment they stop seeing an immediate return. They learn a skill for 2 weeks and give up when nobody notices. They have one hard conversation and quit when it doesn't fix everything instantly. They reach out to a few people and stop when nothing comes of it right away. But careers don't pay out weekly. They pay out unpredictably. Often much later than expected. Often in a shape you didn't plan for. The skill from 2 years ago becomes the reason you're picked for the project that changes everything. The conversation with your manager plants a seed that takes 18 months to grow into something real. The person you stayed in touch with mentions your name in a room you were never in. You rarely see the exact wire connecting the deposit to the payoff. You just eventually notice that the people still depositing are the ones with something to withdraw. When the company really is the problem, sometimes it genuinely is. Bad leadership, no growth path, a culture that punishes ambition. That's real. And no amount of personal discipline fixes a truly broken environment. If that's where you are, leaving is often the healthiest move. And it's not weakness, it's clarity. But more often, people blame the company for years while quietly avoiding a harder truth. They haven't done the work to be a strong candidate anywhere else either. Blaming the company costs nothing. Admitting your skills, network, or resume have gone stale costs something. It requires action. Try this test. If you left tomorrow, would you be a strong candidate somewhere better? Today, not eventually. If the honest answer is no, that tells you something. The problem was never only the company. Part of it is that you stopped preparing to leave the moment staying got comfortable. This isn't about quitting. It's about never letting your value depend entirely on one employer's opinion of you. Someone who's always ready to leave, even if they never do, negotiates differently, works differently, thinks differently than someone who feels trapped. Readiness is leverage. And it's leverage only you can build. Waiting to feel ready. This is the trap that stalls talented people longer than almost anything else. Waiting to feel ready to ask for the raise, apply for the role slightly above them, speak up when their idea matters, or leave a job that stopped teaching them anything. Here's the part nobody says early enough. You'll rarely feel ready. Readiness isn't a feeling that shows up before you act. It's a byproduct that shows up after you've already started, uncomfortable, and kept going anyway. The people who look naturally confident aren't more ready than you. They've just decided the discomfort of asking is smaller than the cost of staying quiet another year. That decision is available to you right now. Not after a course, not after more experience. The plan doesn't have to exist first. Here's the bigger myth. That you need the plan figured out before you move. People spend years hunting for their exact passion, their perfect 5-year trajectory, their ideal role. And while they wait for total clarity, the world moves on without them. Clarity rarely arrives before action. It comes from it. You learn what you want by trying things. The wrong job that teaches you what you don't want. The conversation that reveals what you're actually good at. The imperfect move that shows you what the right one would have looked like. Waiting for perfect clarity isn't caution. Usually it's just fear in a nicer outfit. What it actually looks like, on an ordinary Tuesday. Taking ownership looks like treating your skills as an asset you're responsible for maintaining. Regardless of whether your employer asks you to. It looks like having a real conversation with yourself, and eventually your manager, about what you actually want next, instead of hoping it gets noticed silently. It looks like staying connected to people outside your immediate team. Not because you're job hunting, but because a career built entirely inside one company's walls has no outside options if those walls come down. It looks like doing the slightly uncomfortable thing. The ask, the application, the pitch, the hard conversation. On a schedule you control, not one dictated by how safe it feels that week. None of it requires permission. None of it requires the market to improve or a better boss to show up. It just requires you to stop waiting for someone else to make the first move. 5 years from now, think about what happens if nothing changes. If you keep waiting for the promotion cycle to notice you. Keep hoping the market improves before you update your skills. Keep telling yourself the company is the problem, while quietly avoiding the work of becoming undeniable somewhere else. 5 years is enough time to become genuinely good at something. Enough to build a network that changes which doors are even available to you. Enough to change your financial trajectory completely. And enough to stay exactly where you are, if that's how it's spent. The 5 years pass either way. The only real question is whether you spend them as a passenger, hoping someone steers you somewhere better, or as the one holding the wheel. Nobody is coming to fix your career. Read that again. It sounds discouraging at first, but it isn't. It means the outcome was never in the hands of a system that wasn't thinking about you anyway. It means it's in your hands, in the decisions you make during ordinary weeks nobody else is watching. Your manager isn't coming. Your company isn't coming. The economy isn't coming. But you're here, reading this, thinking about it, which means some part of you already knows that. So stop waiting for the rescue. Make the deposits. Learn the skill nobody assigned. Have the conversation you've been avoiding. Stay ready, even if you never leave. Move before you feel ready, because readiness was never going to arrive first anyway. Your career isn't something that happens to you. It's something you build, one unnoticed decision at a time. And the day you finally accept that nobody's coming to fix it for you is the day you stop waiting and start building it yourself.